Hi guys, so the app that I'm going to be showing you today is called Pear Deck, and it's an interactive app where students are able to answer questions, do graphic organizers, um, and all sorts of things. And it's a application where you as the teacher, you're able to use it anytime during the period. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So here is the home screen of Pear Deck, and what's cool about this is that it already has prompts or templates for you to do, and it categorizes based on the beginning of the class, the middle of the class, or at the end of the class. So you can pick something as a warm-up. So for this one, it'd be like, write everything you remember from the homework. Students would log in and they would answer the question. In the middle, they would do like a graphic organizer, or just like, how are they feeling so far? And at the end of the class, just like an exit ticket, or like this one, it says reflect on today's activities. And what's cool about this app is that you can embed social emotional questions on there, so that you can kind of gauge how students are feeling throughout the day. So for example, let's click on this one. So students would go to joinpd.com, they would type in the code and they can answer the question. So this would be stress check, for example, how they're feeling. And it's, as a teacher, that information is pretty valuable to know. Um, so from this, you can actually upload a Google slide presentation and you could do a session that way. I'm gonna show you guys one that I already did a while back with my students, and that way you can kind of see how it looks like. So here it has the projection, open projector or the dashboard. So the projector is what the students are going to be seeing. That's what you want to project up on the computer screen. And on the overhead, the dashboard is it's the teacher's dashboard. It's what the student responses coming in are going to be. So you don't really want to project the student responses unless you want to like show, oh, like most of you guys answered this. It's actually this question, and then you start explaining it. So that would be the only reason why you would want to show the dashboard. So let's open the projector. And here it's gonna take us to the login code. So for example, students would log in here. So I'm gonna pretend I'm the student and I'm putting in the code. Underwhelmed, zebras, lift, broke flashlights. So see that what's pretty cool is that it asks at the very beginning, how are you feeling today? They can choose to answer or they can skip it. And then you as a teacher, you get that feedback. Okay, so here, once this is what would be projected, this is what, once you have all the students log in, see one student connected, so you would continue, or you would open the dashboard. So you would start the class, or let's open the dashboard here. That way you can see how how it looks like. Okay. Okay, so here we have what's on the screen. So again, this would be like what's projected on the screen, and the students aren't able to move forward or back anywhere. They're forced to stay on the page that the teacher clicks on, which is pretty cool. So here would be the teacher dashboard, so you can see the student responses. Let's go to one where they're able to actually ask a question. Okay, so here let's say we went through the whole presentation or half of it, and what questions do you have? So a lot of the time students are shy to ask questions. So in here they can type it in. So this would be the responses. So it says waiting for responses because nobody's answered so far. So they would answer the question. What questions do you have? What is cell respiration? Right? And as I'm typing, you can see that here I'm able to see the responses like, oh, okay, so then I know one student doesn't understand what cellular respiration is. So I'm going to go ahead and explain that a little bit more. So, okay, so then that's that. And for example, you can also put multiple choice questions. You could put true false questions. So for example, here the students would click an answer and you can see it on here, right? So you'd be able to see it. So this way you can actually, this is what I was talking about when you can show responses. So here you would see, this is the projector. You would see, oh, okay, so 100% of the class clicked more basic, right? And then you can explain that's true, that's not true. We still have confusion. Let's talk about it, right? So hide responses, and then it goes back to the question. So this would be this was a multiple choice question. This is also multiple choice question. You can embed a true false question, for example, and they can just click it. When it has a question where they're able to, where they have to fill in the answer, they can either type it in, or you can also set the option of having them draw it in, which is pretty cool. There's also draggables. So let's say you give them a graph, or you give them like a scale, and they have to drag their icons to what the correct answer. For example, this one, it's what are the top 3 factors that contribute to CO2 emissions? It's like, oh, okay, well, let me analyze the pie chart and drag my icons here. Oh, it's a little bit slow. So the first one is transportation. Next one is industrial and electricity, right? So these would be the student answering. And here on my teacher dashboard, I can see, oh, okay. So I can see where most students are at. And if they're confused, I can step in and explain. So another cool feature about this is that you can actually set a timer. Hold on. Right here. So it's like, okay, for the questions, you have this question. It's an easy question. It's only true, false. You guys have 30 seconds. So I know as a teacher, it's hard with timing, right? Timing everything. How long is this activity going to take? I don't know. Well, here you can even set a 30-second timer, or you can set a minute timer, I think. I don't think you can do more than a minute. So a minute would be the most, because you don't really want to spend too much on a question. So notice what's gonna happen once the timer runs out. So this would be my student view. So it says your teacher has locked response for this slide. So after that, students can no longer answer, and then it's like, okay, let's see what you guys got, right? So that's another cool feature, is that if you're explaining something and you don't want students to like be typing or be like drawing something, you can just lock screen. So the projector, like the question is still on there, but students are not able to type or draw or do anything. All they can do is just sit and listen to you. So yeah, so this is Pear, and I think it is, there's a lot of other options for sure. I know that it has a vocabulary over here. You can, it's like a game where you create a vocabulary list, and you can have the students draw a picture of the vocab word to help them remember. So like I said, you can just pull up a slide from a presentation from Google Slides and present it that way. So it's a pretty interactive app. And this one, I can see it being especially useful when you're doing formative assessments, where you want to kind of check how the students are doing, where you can give them an opportunity to ask questions or things like that. So let's stop the sharing, and yeah, so that's Pear Deck.